So, should Christians engage in the conversation about sexuality, and what's at stake if we choose not to?
So, first of all, I love that question. And the answer is, of course, we have to engage in the
Mm,
conversation and engage in all of the ways that God tells us to engage in every area. Because when you're called to be in the world, but not of the world, you are called to be a part of that conversation. And it's kind of like the last segment. It's not your job to convince anybody.
yeah.
Your job is to be able to lovingly share what you believe that God has presented, in this case, a sexual ethic, and to let the Holy Spirit speak to them, as
Mm,
opposed to the push, 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 or the attack, or, as you pointed out, the kind of the pulling back, and I'm just going to sit under a rock. And
mm,
honestly, if we engage respectfully and lovingly and just say, look, I don't understand all of the reasons why God said certain things in the Bible either, but I have to decide whether or not I'm going to kind of bow the knee and say,
yeah.
even if I don't always understand it, this is the calling according to what God says. And
Mm,
you said something earlier, Erin, that I think was really, really important, where you said, we're not the first ones to deal with this. If you if you look at history and you look at the early church,
yeah.
there were several areas that the early church, the followers of the way in the first century, were radically different from the
Mm,
culture around. And and basically, like, there's more than this, but like the treatment of women was a big one, because women had
mm-hmm.
no rights and no ability to like be a person, like they had no agency. And so
Right.
here's Jesus and the early church saying, no, women are equal at the foot of the cross. Like, whoa, that blew
Mm,
everybody's mind. The treatment of the poor and the
mm,
calling to care for the widows and the orphans, and that tangible, it's our job as followers of Jesus to actually care for the poor and do something about it. That was radical. And the third thing that was radical was the Christian sexual ethic,
yeah.
because it was so different from the culture. And all of those things together, it's a bit of what you were talking about earlier. It's because God knows what is going to lead to human thriving,
Mm-hmm.
and God knows that those are some of the things that will show a watching world, wow, following Jesus makes a difference.
Mm,
There's something
amen.
different about this group of people. And you don't have to be shouting
Right.
in order to show that. And
Right.
so that's the reason why I'm passionate now. After starting this project slightly reluctantly, I guess, a few years ago, because these projects are 3-year projects and they cost a lot of money.
Mm,
And but that's the reason now I am passionate, because I see that the Christian husband and wife having a healthy, intimate sexual relationship that honors God,
mm.
it is for their thriving, but it's also our strengthens our marriages, and our marriages are one of the core things that speaks to a watching world about Jesus.
Hey guys, you just watched a short clip of Grounded. To check out the full episode, click the link below.